Okay, Mr. Chairman, I apologize. We're live on YouTube.
Okay, good morning, the committee members and folks who are with us today. Meeting will come to order. Can you please call the roll, Ms. Cruz?
Representatives Baker,
Excused.
Representative Gray,
Here.
Representative Hallinan,
Here.
Representative Henderson,
Here.
Representative Jennings,
Here.
Representative Rosko,
Here.
Representative Sweeney,
Here.
Representative Yen,
Here.
Mr. Chairman,
Here.
8 present, 1 excused.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Welcome to our first meeting of the session. Representative Baker is here for the record.
Okay,
And welcome folks who are our visitors here in person and online. Appreciate you being here and taking part. And as many of you know, I look out in the audience, a lot of veterans here. So we appreciate your testimony on these bills. If you do testify, remember we work everything through the chairman and give each other plenty of time and as we work through it. So appreciate you again being here. Okay, first bill for our consideration is, we have 2 this morning. The first one is House Bill 21, repealing exemptions for one-way pagers. Okay, so is there anybody, I guess we can all talk about this. There's no to work through this. I'm just going to go, it's a pretty simple little bill. Is there anybody here in the audience that would like to comment on this bill? Okay. Is there anybody, and there is nobody online that wants to comment? Nobody's signed up. Okay, members. No public comment on House Bill 21. Okay. Okay, so the bill has been
Second.
moved and seconded, moved by Representative Henderson, seconded by Representative Yen. Okay, members, discussion. Any discussion on this?
Question.
Okay, question being called on this bill. Can you please take the roll?
Representatives Baker,
Aye.
Gray, Hallinan,
Aye.
Henderson,
Aye.
Jennings,
Aye.
Rosko,
Aye.
Sweeney,
Aye.
Yen.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 ayes, 1 no, the no being Representative Gray.
Okay, and I'll assign some floor management for that after a bit. I have. Okay, next bill for our consideration is House Bill 22. Okay, and you'll recall this bill really takes a program that was set up in the late 60s. These payment in lieu of taxes payments for these for revenue bonds. And the program hasn't been used at all. And partly, I think other states, as we've learned, have much lower pilot payment requirements. Ours is basically 100%. And so this bill proposes to kind of kick this, kind of jumpstart this tool of economic development by lowering that pilot payment to 50%. And for that bond term. And again, these aren't state monies that are bonded. But I think the argument is, the argument I see is really right now, nothing from nothing's nothing. And so if you were to attract through the startup costs, attract a large employer, those pilot payments in would be up to 50% of those other ad valorem taxes for that period of time. So that's really what we're looking at, trying to jumpstart this. And that's my little explanation for folks here in the audience. Anybody else want to add to that? Any members of the committee? Okay, are there any folks here who'd like to comment on this bill? Please come forward. And we've got 3 chairs up here. You can line them up and go to work on this. Thanks for breaking the ice. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, committee members. I'm Lisa Johnson here on behalf of the Wyoming Economic Development Association. And we just speak in favor of this bill because it is a tool for economic development. And more opportunities for economic development finance is one of our priorities of our members. And we think that this is just a good, sound way to get this started again in our state. So thank you for your consideration.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any questions, Ms. Johnson? Okay. Another exciting bill. I think Mr. Jennings has a question.
I do. Thank
That's
you, Mr.
great.
Chairman.
Appreciate you breaking the ice.
Yeah, got to find out already. So I meant to ask this when you were asked, but probably Ms. Johnson will know. Ms. Johnson, how long has this program been in place where there's been no action? I understand that, but how long has this been in place already?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Jennings, I don't know about the details of the past in Wyoming. I did a little bit of research on the program, and it was started in the 30s in the United States. And so even though it has not been widely used, I think that in these times we need to have more options. And there's a similar bill that's being considered in the session this year that has to do with revenue bonds. And I think it's just, there are times when companies need to exhaust all resources. And so I think that if this is, if there's more flexibility added to the program, then I think that we can do some research and get it built back up.
Okay. Follow up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in Wyoming, built back up from zero, might be still zero. Do you have a number of businesses that have come to you and said, boy, this will make and break. This is where we want to, this is how we'd like to use this sort of thing to grow our business?
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, Representative Jennings, I would be happy to get some more information on that.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions, Ms. Johnson? I think, just looking at page 2 of the bill draft, and really, we had this program, I think, before 1967. 1967, it was changed to 100%. Make up all ad valorem taxes. And really, it's no incentive then. And and you can see where we, line 7 on page 2, proposed to do that to 50%. So, yeah. Okay, very good. Any other questions? Representative Rosko has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering if this does become a popular thing. It would have an effect on the funding for some municipalities and for schools. Is that correct?
Go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Rosko, as I understand it, this program, if there was a project to come into use, that would be negotiated at the local level on a project by project basis.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you're right. I think, Representative, it's schools are the biggest chunk of ad valorem taxes, and then local government. But you're right, those would be those negotiations. Very good. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you. Appreciate you being here today. Okay, anyone else? We're on a roll now. Shit, pretty exciting stuff. Pilot payments.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Jeremiah Riemann here on behalf of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. I hadn't intended to testify, although we are supportive of the bill, but I did want to provide some additional information for Representative Jennings' question. Your LSO staff in September provided the committee a memo relative to these industrial revenue bonds. And in that memo, they do indicate that there was use of the program once in the last decade. That was by Converse County for, I believe, an oil and gas project, their refining project. There have also been other municipalities that have used the program, and points in time where the state treasurer's office has bought those bonds after they've been issued. So it has been a program that's been used, although infrequently. We do think that the amendments that you're making will make this program more useful, not only for local governments, but also for industry. And so from that perspective, that's why we support it.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Mr. Reaman? Okay, thank you. Appreciate your testimony. Okay, anyone else? Any other public comment? Do we have any online? I don't think we have.
Mr. Chairman, we don't have anyone online.
Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, closing public comment. Committee members, what's your pleasure? Okay, been moved by Representative Yin, seconded by Representative Hallinan. Okay, members, any discussion or any amendments? Another two-page bill.
Yeah. Mr.
Go
Chairman.
ahead, Representative Jennings.
So I'd like to end the discussion here. I mean, what we're hearing testimony is once in 10 years. And I'd be kind of curious to know what the cost of this program was to stand up way back when, or how many years you said it was in place before 69. And so was it used more before it went to 100%? Why did it go? Putting it at 100%, it kind of sounds to me like our predecessors maybe thought putting it at 100% would let it wither on the vine, so to say, and we're trying to re-inject this. So I don't know. I guess if I was going to make an amendment, I would put a sunset clause so that we would force it to be viewed, because 69, and for the fact that it went, what we heard was a decade with only one use, that maybe this committee ought to be looking at this a little more often to see, in 5 years, we should look at this and say, did we only get half of one use in 5 years? If there was, I realize you can't do that, but anyway, I'd like to make a motion to put a sunset in there of 5 years so that we'd be forced to come back and look at this and
Okay.
see what.
Do you have what's your thoughts on that then? Where would you put that amendment?
Well, I don't know where LSO typically would put that. It just came to me as I was listening.
Okay,
But the idea just to be that this committee, or that there'd be a little more, 10 years is a long time for only one entity to use this program. And we're hoping that it's going to be more, but I'd hate for us to implement it, come back in 20 years and there was only one person in 20 years or one entity.
okay. I think maybe we can work that on line 1, page 2, members, and I'll just spitball this, and everybody appreciates your help pitching in. So maybe projects initiated before July 1st, 2032, that'd be a 10-year deal under this section. So it'd give a 10-year kind of look for folks to do this. And then if you initiated before that time, you would still, are exempt from ad valorem taxes during the bond term. So if your bond term was 10 years after that, and you did it at 31, and you're still going to 41.
Yeah.
Sounds like a long ways away, but it goes pretty fast, doesn't it? Okay. I think that, anybody else have any thoughts on that? Will that work? I think it'll work on that. Okay, is there a second on that amendment? Second. Okay, it's been seconded by the Vice Chair Henderson, and I think Representative Gray was in on that. Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, those opposed? 1. Okay, that amendment has been adopted. Okay, so I think, and
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat that?
yeah, and I'll work with you, I think, and I'll just repeat it for folks here in the audience, but I
Okay.
think this will work, and we'll have LSO finalize that, but we know the intent is really to put a sunset on this 50% piece. And so projects initiated before July 1st, 2032 under this section are exempt from ad valorem taxes during the bond term. And as it reads on, and the LSO might have to put some language in there that at that point, if it's not reviewed, it returned to 100%. But I think we all know that. Okay, I think that works. Okay, so that's been adopted. Any other amendments? 32, yeah.
Call the question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, questions being called. I think take the roll on this, Ms. Cruz. House Bill 22.
Representatives Baker. Gray.
No.
Hallinan.
Aye.
Henderson,
Aye.
Jennings,
No.
Rosko,
Aye.
Sweeney,
Aye.
Yin. Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, we have 7 ayes, 2 noes, the noes being Representatives Gray and Representatives Jenny.
Okay, very good. Is there any other business before the committee? Anybody else, public comment? Okay, so appreciate you being here and we hope to see more of you on Thursday. We have some more bills.